Hi everyone, I am Josh. Thanks for coming by my channel today. And today I'm going to be giving you recommendations, I think maybe 10 or so, for fans of the TV show Dark on Netflix.
We trust that time is linear. That it proceeds eternally and uniformly into infinity. But the distinction between the past, present, and future is nothing but an illusion. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow are not consecutive. They are connected in a never-ending circle.
So what you just watched was the introductory scenes to the TV show Dark on Netflix. I think it really encapsulates what the show is about and what it really tackles as far as themes and tone. And if you haven't seen the show, I highly recommend it. What I'm going to be doing today is giving you 10 or so recommendations for fans of that show, or if you like that show, I think you'll like these books. And even if you haven't seen the show, I think you should stick around, because the books you see here might give you an idea what the show is about, what it feels like. And if you like the sound of these books, you'll probably like the sound of the show as well. So a little bit of an introduction here. If you aren't interested, you can skip. I'll give you a timestamp. But I originally had the idea to do a themed reading vlog where I picked books that were themed around the TV show Dark, because I just finished this series and it was so good, so satisfying. It used two principal ideas that I love, which is time travel and the mini worlds perspective. And I loved how they were used. So that was part of why I fell in love with it, but also because it was just really well acted and really high production quality. Anyways, I was doing a reading vlog for it last August, but I was having a bit of a slump because I won't lie, some of these books, while the premise is fascinating, they didn't always work for me as well as I would have hoped. But then when I was in the middle of the vlog, my grandmother died. I was like, I can't, this vlog is done, it's out, it's gone. And we're finally here months later, like 9 months later, and I'm ready to just make a recommendation video for it, because I do think these books, I think, will excite a lot of people. Even those that didn't necessarily excite me, I think it also hopefully inspire people to watch the TV show Dark on Netflix. It is so good. I did a tag recently where I said Westworld was my top 3. I really wasn't thinking, because I feel like I would definitely put Dark right now above Westworld until Westworld sort of regains its foothold, if it ever does. But that's enough of an intro. Let's now officially get into the list of books. I have it sort of sorted by those that are sort of loosely connected to the themes, the ideas, and those that are more like solidly connected to the themes and the plot devices that are used. These first two are more loosely connected. The first one I want to give is actually one that I started, haven't finished yet, partly because of the vlog experience. That is 100 Years of Solitude, and this one might seem like an odd choice for fans of the show. That's because this is not time travel. This is not even science fiction. If anything, it's magical realism. Gabriel Garcia Marquez this is a book was written essentially following this family who isolate themselves, and it's an intergenerational narrative where they follow the family sort of just evolving with time. And it's the intergenerational narrative there that I think really makes it connect to this show. I was trying to figure out what to read in the vlog originally, and I picked this because I wanted something to sort of encapsulate that family dynamic, because the intergenerational family dynamic is a key part of Dark. And while this obviously isn't like a one-to-one comparison, it is that theme, that sort of principal idea in this book that I think really mirrors what's going on in the show, even if the tone and the actual plot is very different. And that's something I think really important to understand, that that's a key part of the story of Dark, is that sort of underlying family dynamic. And I think that gives it some really good heart to the show. Next is the other one that I feel like is kind of a loose relation here, and that is The Time Machine by H.G. Wells. Sorry, I had something in my throat. Something I had for breakfast stuck there. The Time Machine by H.G. Wells. This book, I feel like, I wasn't sure if I should include it here, because obviously it's a time travel book about this man who makes a time machine. He goes into the future, and that is really where the connection stops. Not that that's what happens in the show, but that there is time travel in the show, and this is like the quintessential time travel book that sort of started the genre. And personally, I read it for the vlog because I felt like I needed to. I didn't love this because I felt like it didn't work as well as a classic, but I know it is highly praised. If you like time travel, this is a good place to start. If you haven't read this, I feel like it's something you should read if you like time travel, even though I didn't necessarily love it myself. myself as much as I would have wanted to. Now getting into books I think really dive deeper into the themes. I'm going to start with Pines from the Wayward Pines trilogy by Blake Crouch. And this one, it does not use time travel. Not exactly. This is science fiction dystopian. So this man who is a cop, detective, FBI agent, wakes up or goes to a town to investigate a missing other FBI agent has been missing. And he goes there and something happens because of a car crash, and he wakes up and there's just something that's off. Like, he's there but he forgot why he was there. He can't seem to get in contact with his FBI team, can't get in contact with his wife, and he's just essentially trying to understand what's going on in this town. Things do not seem to be quite right, and what unfolds is I think really good. If you know Blake Crouch from anything, which another one's going to be on here, it's a shocker, he's really good at science fiction and making very thrilling science fiction at that. And I think what I really included this for was because it really encapsulates the sort of conspiratorial, dark, confusing theme that's going on in the show Dark. I mean, Dark right there tells you the name. It's a very dark show, and these trying to figure out what it is the hell is going on in this town that is just really weird and sort of a mindfuck is really what makes this book, I think, shine really well. Now, as we continue, I think the rest of these books, I think, tie more deeply into the show. Actually, take that back. I'm going to jump to one more Blake Crouch before I jump to the other two, and that's going to be Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. If you haven't read this, my God, you should. A man gets kidnapped and he wakes up in a different universe, and it turns into a multiverse story. This story is so fast-paced. I loved it so much. I've read it twice now, maybe 3 times, at least twice, and this is just so good. The show Dark, without spoiling it, it isn't quite as in deep with the multiverse idea, but they do use it. They use the many world perspective in the show, and when I saw that, when I saw it used, I wish I had filmed it because I was so excited, because I already loved the beginning of the show already. I won't tell you where they first introduce it, but we clearly have time travel from the start, or it's like the premise of the show. But when I saw them then tying the other thing that I love, I was so excited, so excited. And I had wished to include this in the reading vlog originally, which I didn't do because I already read it, but highly recommend. Now, a couple books that really meet this show really well, and that is The Gone World by Tom Swiftledge. A complicated name there. And this is one of the reasons why I had a bit of a slug through the reading blog I tried to do, because I wasn't loving it. And this one just didn't work as well for me. This is about an astronaut who is a part of a team that goes into space, and there's something that they do. I never quite understood, but something happens where they're able to go into space and they travel, I want to say, into the future, except it's sort of a quantum future in the sense that when they go into the future, there are many possibilities that could happen. And then when they go to, it's just one possibility. When they come back with the information they have, it changes it. And so the future you're going to is not set in stone. And there's this dynamic of the people who are in the future and understanding the program, understanding that if this person is here, then that means their future isn't quite real. And at the core of it, there's like a bigger story going on. And this tone definitely met the tone of Dark, and the time travel mechanic kind of almost made it fit because the future is almost dystopian in nature. Well, there is a dystopian future included in this. At the core, though, I think I didn't love the time travel mechanic as much, and I didn't just connect to the story as much. But I do think the premise is really exciting. And if you think it sounds like something you would like, I do think you should check it out. I don't think it's objectively bad. It's not something that clicked with me as much as I would have liked it to. Next is one that I enjoyed more, but still didn't love as much as I thought I would. I really thought this would be a 5-star, and it wasn't quite for me. The Shining Girls by Lauren Bukes, and this is a time travel serial killer book. And without getting too much from Dark, let's just say that it fits really well with Dark. And this gives you such great, it's set in the 80s and 90s. It gives you some great 90s and 80s vibes, particularly 90s, I think. It feels like a really good period piece. And that also goes back to Dark, where one of the key parts of Dark is set in the 80s. And so you have that same nostalgic feel. If you're like me, just, loving to feel like the now distant past, 34 years in the past. 80s and 90s was that long ago. But this follows this man who is a serial killer, and he's killing women through time, basically. And without giving away more, let's just say that things ensue. And I thought the mechanic was really good. The tone was solid, and like I said, the nostalgic was great. Why didn't I love it more? I'm not quite sure. I thought I would. Maybe it's because part of it was that the main character is I think she's a journalist who's connected to a cop. It's kind of like a cop story. story doesn't always click with me as much as I would have liked them to, but it's a solid book, solid book, and I definitely recommend this, especially for fans of Dark. Obviously, it's why this list is here. Now, I'm going to pivot to his last two books, which are, I'm sorry, y'all, if I don't like this, but it's nonfiction. Can't not include nonfiction. We're talking about science fiction. There's always great science books to talk about for fans of science fiction. And the first one I want to get to, actually, let's do it this way, is a book that I think is actually pretty dense. Even the author admits that From Eternity to Here by Sean Carroll, that this book, it was one of his earlier books, I think maybe his first one, that he admits that it's kind of thick, and he probably could have made it more concise. That said, this book is fantastic. It's essentially about the nature of time, why we interpret time the way it is, how time flows, and what it means like for time to go from past to the future. And while it is a lot to take in, it is definitely a fantastic book for fans of this show. Because one thing I love about this show wasn't just that it used time travel or the many worlds perspective, because I thought it did a fairly accurate portrayal of what it would be like if you were able to time travel in our universe. And this book, so good introduction to that idea. And if you want to learn more about that, like this, a good place to start. It is a lot, I'm not gonna lie. A better book just as introduction, but I do think his writing is good. It's just a lot of information to take in, and I think I don't need to read it myself, but I do think you've got something from this if it's your first time through, even if you might not retain everything. There's some basic ideas in here that I think will at least embed itself in your mind at the very least. And then next is another book by the same author, shocker, Sean Carroll, Something Deeply Hidden, and this is one that's about the many worlds perspective. I think this book, obviously more concise, does a better job of tackling the science that's going on in here. I think it's a bit more accessible, not as overwhelming in my opinion. And even when the science is a little bit overwhelming, he does a really good job of summarizing it very quickly after he's done. Like, this is the point of what I just said. Like, this is what matters, what you should care about most of all. And for fans of the multiverse theory, or the many worlds perspective of quantum mechanics, which is to say Blake Crouch's book Dark, like that's what's going on in there. You should read this, not watch it. So those are the 10 or so books that I would recommend for fans of the TV show Dark. There are other books you probably could find. I mean, a lot of time travel books would just generally fit the theme, but I wanted to find those that I thought like fit really well. So hopefully you found this list valuable. Let me know if you're going to watch this show, because I'm telling you, you really should. It's 3 seasons. It's done. It's like a trilogy. It's so good. It is in German, and they have an English dub and also subtitle version. I won't lie, it's a lot the first season. And I ended up actually stopping like halfway through it, and then I ended up going back to it after everything finished and we watched it, and that's when I fell in love. So it is a lot of information, but it is definitely worth it. It's just like how everything intersects is part of why it's so complicated, I think, in the first season. Also, it's in German, so it gets harder to to catch everything that you want to catch. But as always, thanks so much for watching. I hope you found this video valuable, and as always, hope you have a great day. If you made it this far, let's say give me a sort of time, like a time symbol of some sort. Anything will do. Thank you so much for watching it again, and as always, have a great day, everyone.